How would you like to achieve your first million? And we have Brian with us, which is a serial entrepreneur and a mortgage broker. So Brian, tell us, what are the 5 steps that entrepreneurs should be doing out there to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Wow. So thank you for having me on today. This is stuff that I love to talk about all the time because I think people do a lot of this stuff backwards. They jump into their businesses and they treat it, I'd say number one is they treat it like it's a job. And they have to realize that, no, you're going to work a little bit harder. You're going to spend more time than going to do it. You're going to have ups and downs that are different because nobody's funding, your activity. So you have to do it. So first thing, you really have to become the person that you need to be in order to do it. I talk a lot about when I'm doing coaching, be, do, have. So you got to become the person, then you do the thing, then you get to have. And we get it all backwards, right? Because what we'll do is we'll start out with do. So we'll go home, I got to do this, I got to do this. And we learn all these programs and we get all these things. Well, if it's a franchise, right, they try to help us and we pay for this stuff and hopefully they're helping us. But we do. And then we say, okay, I got to have this stuff. But we haven't yet become the person that we need to be that is able to make $1 million, right? Because
Absolutely.
Your mindset has to be way different than it is. So that would be the first thing is become the person. And I'll talk about how to do that in a second. Second thing that I would say would be you want to try to not utilize your own money for everything because you're just going to be frustrated, especially if you had a job and you traded time for money. That money means that you start thinking that all the money that I'm going to have, I have to trade time for. And I spent a lot of time making this money. So if I lose it, then I'm thinking this is how much time it's going to take to get back. So let's say I go, I worked at my job for 20 years, saved up $150,000, and now I'm putting it into a business or a franchise or something. I'm thinking and I'm worried every day if I lose that $150,000, it's going to take me 20 years to make it back up. So your thought about money and how money works is going to freak you out every single day. So if you have a way to get investors, or you have a way, venture capitals, or you have a way to borrow some of the money that you're getting in, now you didn't earn that money, you borrowed that money, and so you're not thinking in your mind that I have to work my hours to be able to do it, which goes back to that mindset of becoming the person, right? And thinking differently about money. The third thing that I think entrepreneurs fail to realize when we talk about lead generation or we talk about where do my clients come from. So I'd say the third thing is you, my friend, are in sales if you own a business. I don't care what you try to say you do or what you say you're not going to do. You are in
Absolutely.
sales. So
Don't kid yourself.
you have to get good at selling, right? Whether it's a presentation for a computer board or it's a presentation, that you're selling hamburgers. You're selling every single day. And so training on understanding sales, how it works, how to motivate, how to, go across the kitchen table or whatever you're doing, executive boards and selling whatever, even if you're just selling yourself. I'm sorry, my friend, you are in sales. And the faster you realize that, you can say, I hate sales. Don't become an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. I'm with you in that one, 100%.
You gotta learn to love it. And I think a lot of people, they don't like salesmen or sales because they had terrible ones that came to their house, right? You gotta have people that want what you have to sell instead of trying to convince people to buy what you have. And so, in this planet, 6 billion, it was 8 billion people now. Whatever it is that you're selling, whatever your product is, there's somebody who already wants what you have. You just have to let them know where you're at. And that is the key in that whole sales process is persuading people to get something they already want instead of trying to convince somebody to have something they don't want or need. You'll go crazy trying to find somebody that, you're trying to convince somebody they need this. You're not going to make $1 million. You're just going to be frustrated. So, and then the next thing I think that you have to do, I have personal development. you have to work on you. In order to become the person you need to do, you got to spend some money on you. You may be the expert. Let's say you're the expert in microchips. You're doing a business that is going to sell microchips, or something in that area, and you might be that engineer or that expert in that area, but you're probably not the expert in sales. And so I would say you need to find somebody that's the expert in what you're doing, and then get coached by them. That's a big thing now, coaching, right? Is everybody has a coach, and everybody needs a coach. If you are coaching people, if that's what your business is, you have to have a coach, because if you're a coach that doesn't have a coach,
Never have a coach that don't have a coach. Yeah.
you have no business coaching if you don't already have a coach. But you need
Yeah.
to find, and you might, if you don't want to call them coaches, call them mentors. You
Hmm.
have to have other people in your circle of friends that has the ability to help you be able to, grow and learn, because you have to become a person a person that you're not now. Because let's say, so if you've never made $1 million, then you don't know how to make $1 million, right? You
Absolutely.
haven't been there first. So you have to find people who can help you become that person. Because if you were already that person, you would have already made $1 million. So I'm telling you, if you haven't made $1 million yet, you're not that person. So you got to become that person. And how are you going to do it without other people helping you to do that? And then the last thing is, you have to be incredibly good at relationships. And so if you don't like people and you don't like to talk, then you need to find somebody in your business who does. Because relationships that you have, that circle of friends that I kind of talked about a little bit, that is so huge. If you are the smartest person in the rooms you're in, get out of that room and go find another one, because you.
Absolutely. Run away from it.
So those are my five, right?
Oh, I love the fight, Brian. I love the fight, and especially because you walk the talk, yeah. Because you were
Yes.
that guy, yeah. We have a brief
Oh no.
conversation before the broadcast. You were that guy that was in a corporate job, and for some reason that situation changed, and all of a sudden now you don't have your corporate job anymore, and now you are an entrepreneur. So a lot need to think change in Brian out of this mindset. When you are an employee, it's amazing, especially your corporate. You don't need to worry about 9 to 5. They pay you good money. You have the freedom to say this is not my job, and everybody had to listen, which is something that when you become an entrepreneur. So what happened, Brian, when you become an entrepreneur, that you cannot say anymore, this is not my job, because everything is your job.
Everything.
And then what happened with this 9 to 5, that, oh, it's 6 o'clock, I'm still there. And and it's weekend, and I'm still worried about this thing that somehow. So you trade your comfortable life for your uncomfortable life to become an entrepreneur, or it's actually the other way, because actually when you make the business work, and it works for you, and it works on autopilot, you have a sense of freedom, and you can actually do that you love. I can tell, because your eyes shine every time that you coach someone how to start or grow the business. This is what you love, man. I can tell. So so you were that person before. So what happened? You this methodology that you describe now is the thing, the same methodology that you need to apply to yourself. Then you have to become someone that you were not in the first place. You were working in corporate, like most of the people. So what happened? Why you made this transition? What challenge did you manage to become that person, and what words of encouragement you have for these people in corporate America or in corporate over the world, that they are in this golden cage? They want to have their life. You have. They're driving in the car right now, listening to this podcast, and say, "Man, I wish that I have the courage, Brian, that start my own business, have my own freedom. But you know what? Tomorrow I have to wake up and go to this corporate job, and I had to hear this. My boss that is an idiot, and people have been coping for that for 10 years, and they have a stress, and they are unfulfilled. So, tell us a little bit more about the transition. What can you tell to your fellow from corporates, employees that are in the golden cage?
Yeah, and here's what I tell you: being an entrepreneur is amazing. It's awesome. It's wonderful. At the same time, it's hard. It's difficult. You have
Absolutely.
a lot of sleepless nights, but they're your sleepless nights. It's because you're concentrating on your business. You're doing stuff. Advice that I would love to give
You're
somebody
working
who's.
for you, right, Brian? You're
working
gonna
for
work
you.
hard anyway. You're doing it for you, right?
You're
Why
doing it
you
for
should
you.
be
You're
doing
doing
it
it
for
for,
another person?
yeah, and you're doing it for your family and what your family's going to achieve. Some of the things in becoming the person, that you have to be is that whole mindset of, when I get up in the morning, what do I do? And I think a lot of people who fail, they do the wrong things when they get up every morning. They concentrate on some of the things that the job concentrates on instead of what you need to concentrate, because you're a business owner. Just because you're good at whatever you were, let's say that you worked at a grocery store and you know grocery business real well, right? Or you know how to stock shelves and you know how to run a store, or let's say it's a Walmart, and you know how to do all those things and you know how to manage people, and that's great. But you might not know how to run a business, and so, which is a total different skill set
Completely
than whatever.
different beast. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like you
so,
shared with me, you were working in the mortgage broker and thing, but all of a sudden you become a partner and you had to run it yourself. Oh boy, now you need to learn a lot of skills, a lot of things that, and either you like it or not, you have to learn and apply it, right?
yeah, well, like 2008 happened, right? So 2008 happened, and all of a sudden we have all these loans in the pipeline, and we can't sell a loan. It's over. America's not giving you loans. I still got employees, right? They still are expecting for me to support their family.
Wow. Oh
And I
my
got to figure
God.
out
That was
how
tough.
long is this going to last? Can I let it last? How many months am I going to pay? I paid for about 6 months and realized I couldn't sustain it, and we had to shut it down before I brought it back on. When I think of my transition, one of the things that I did that was, I think, smart back in 2001 when I left teaching. Well, I didn't really leave teaching. I changed my teaching job. So I was an administrator in charge of
Absolutely.
a
Now you're
master's
teaching
program.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I was in charge of a master's program in educational technology. So I got this title at the university, but that title meant that I had to run around all day long every day and babysit different teachers doing stuff. What I did is, when I decided I was going to start, I went back and I taught at an elementary school. So I went to the school that my kids were at. I became a PE teacher again. So I'm doing physical education. And I know when I show up in the morning, then I work for my 8 hours at the school. I don't have to take any homework home. I don't have to work on my, like the normal teachers do at night, because I'm teaching PE, right? I can't make the kids run in the middle of the night, and so I was able to do, okay, so from 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, I was an elementary school PE teacher. Then at 3:30, I go put on my suit, and from 3:30 to 8, I was a entrepreneur working in my business.
Wow. Wow. That's
Well, one of
powerful.
the things that I did, that I made sure, because I was, okay, I got a family, I got young kids, I got to make sure that they're taken care of. They
Absolutely.
see their dad, right? So I got a job at the elementary school that my kids went to. So I got to see them all day when I was teaching, and they would come out to be. I was the favorite, teacher on them, because your kids,
Wow.
they
That
went
was
to,
very clever. Yeah. Well
so I got to
done.
spend time, and then I had freedom of time to go watch their games and do all those other things. But I was working to 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I traded that because I knew in a few years I'll never have to teach again if I don't want to. I'll never have to go get up, where they ring the bell and say get up, and I guess that's an alarm clock, right? It rings the bell and tells you get up, take a shower, and drive off to work and come back. And so that's, I guess, when I think of that transition, that was smart. Then I did start working on personal development. So I can remember going to like Tony Robbins. Yay, rah, rah. I'd say incredible training that Tony Robbins is doing, right? But I get home on Monday, after the Tony Robbins weekend, and I walked on fire and did all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? Because I was excited, but I had no clue what to do, because the training didn't go there. And so now a lot of my coaching is, how do you become the person that is ready to go to Tony Robbins? Because I don't think I was then. I got
Mhm.
excited, but I see all these people making
Yeah, you
it.
can get no, because you can, over there you motivate, but you can demotivate very easily until that transformation, it doesn't happen within you.
Yeah.
I've been in that workshop 5 times.
Okay. There you
I
go.
love it. I love it. And I think it's one of the greatest guy.
Oh,
And
absolutely. And I think
but sometimes Brian, you're 100% right. You have to be ready, because otherwise you the more you advance, the more you grow in personal development, the more you can get ready for what actually happens there. I think that and sometimes it takes for you to go more than once to get it. Like I told you, I've been there 5 times. I probably know the workshop, the UPW, the Unleash the Power Within. Probably I know better than Tony Robbins
But
himself.
yeah, the key is you are a different person every time you attend. So the things that you get out
Absolutely, and
are different because
every
you're
time I
different.
go something different. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so, a lot of things that I tell people, let me work on your habits first. Let me work on your disciplines first. Let me work on your decision making first. Now go see Tony Robbins and all that stuff makes sense. Because if you go there and you don't have any habits,
I
you don't have
agree
any,
with you.
you're just going to go, okay, thanks, Tony. I'm excited. Let's go
That
do
was a
it.
lot of fun.
And it was a lot of fun.
Uh,
I came home and I was tired and I got, which I think is great for everybody to do. But I think people come out of there expecting that in 6 weeks they're going to go make $1 million, because somebody was there, right? Somebody was there and said, hey, like 3 months ago, I didn't have anything. And now, I made my first $500,000. Right, but the person you were when you showed up to his seminar and the things and the disciplines and everything you had before you came, of course you made $500,000. Oh yeah, you forgot to tell us you have a company that made $200,000 last year. You have all
mhm.
those, and now you
And you have all these skills, and you have
you
all
have all
these
the skill sets,
skills,
you have all those
and
things.
you have your own company, and you're starting, because at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur, Brian, is a skill. Every single human being can become a good entrepreneur. In the same way that everybody can drive a car, it's a skill based. The more you practice, the better you become. When you drive in a car, at the beginning you cannot drive so good, but some people that even is not allowed, they drive the car and they even speaking on the phone. However, what is really important, and people sometimes don't understand the value, Brian, is that if you have that coach, if you have that mentor, you have this driver instructor next to you, this could be very helpful in order for you to drive more safely, to get your license faster, and probably a couple of tips might save your life about this mentor, this driver instructor that you have. But still, it's up to you. You need to develop the skill as an entrepreneur. The coach, the mentor cannot do it for you. You have to practice and fail, and have these sleepless nights. Nobody's gonna this the people become an entrepreneur. They want to make a million, Brian, and everybody want to make it fast, and nobody want to go through this process. And it's coming to you anyway if you're gonna have a business, because this is part of the process for you to develop the skill. And if you don't have this skill, you're not gonna succeed in business. So, what message do you have, Brian, for the something that you talk about and it's really powerful is that about mentoring and coaches, because you hear about entrepreneurs out there, some of them they are stuck, their business are not growing, but when you talk to them and say, look, find a mentor and a coach, what happened is that they say, no, I don't want a mentor, and I want a coach. I can do it by myself, number one. And the other thing is that they hire their own coach, they hire their own mentor, and they have a bad experience. And now they took this decision that they will never ever have a mentor, they will never ever have a coach, which is, if you're in business, it's gonna be is gonna be difficult for you to move forward fast and effectively and with less resistance. So, Brian, I think that the problem is that people, entrepreneurs, they want to make want to 0 to 1, they want to make the first million, and what they do, they go to Instagram, they find someone with the Lamborghini, with the luxury, with that with amazing house that you don't know if it rented, it don't even belong to them, and that's the place where entrepreneurs go and find the mentors, write down, find a real person like you, real someone that been there, that have worked hard, that school teacher, that had the family, that when things went wrong, went back and work and create support, and then made the business, start the business again, work parallel shift, which is something we recommend. Don't start your own business. If you can find a job and parallel you can build your business until business can sustain itself. So something that I've done it for real. And but the entrepreneurs, no, they prefer to go to Instagram, whatever. And if that business coach have a Lamborghini and he has a house, shiny house, this is the mentor that they want or the coach they want. Now they pay a lot of money, they get very little value, and then that's it. coaching and mentoring, it sucks. I never had a coach again. So, what is your view? What is the secret to have? Why do you think that this is happening, and what can we do to actually improve the industry so we can actually have more entrepreneurs? Because I do believe strongly in coaching and mentoring in order to be successful. I never have a mentor and a coach. I had to build my business by myself, and boy, it was hard. I make a lot of mistakes. It was a lot of suffering, a lot of trial and error. It was really, really painful experience. So, what do you think is the problem in the industry, and how can we improve it, Brian?
Well, just because somebody did something doesn't mean they're a good coach. So I'll start right there, right? So if I were to go, Michael Jordan, right, best basketball, arguably the best basketball player that ever lived, he had special talent. I don't think Michael Jordan's a good coach because Michael Jordan can't coach you in things that only he can do, right? Only he can jump from the free throw line and dunk a basketball,
Absolutely.
4 or 5 other ones, right? So if he shows up to the basketball court and tries to teach you that skill, you're not capable of doing it. So first, and here's what I'm saying. A lot of people say, well, you have to have a coach that has already done everything that you want to do. And I'm going to say probably not, because when I think of, and I don't know how familiar you are with American football,
Well,
but you
Michael
have,
Jordan coach is not as good as him,
yeah,
and
well,
and and
yeah,
and,
exactly.
and he has a
Yeah,
coach.
well, yeah. Well, you think of like Bill
This is
Belichick.
this is what is a good coach. Michael Jordan coach. That's a good coach.
That's an amazing coach. He pulled everything out of Michael Jordan. You were out. Phil Jackson was, oh yeah, incredible coach. I think of like Bill Belichick. He's the coach of the New England Patriots, or was, and he had I don't know how many Super Bowl teams with Tom Brady and all those players. Never played football, so but he had the ability to stop and talk to an athlete and get the best out of the athlete that he had, be able to see things that they can't see. And so when you're looking for a coach and you're looking for somebody who's going to mentor you, don't always go after the person who has done, especially if they're at this level and you're coming in down here. Some of the things they're going to say are going to be tough to get to. Like if I wanted to be coached by Tony Robbins right now, there's no chance. I could get into Tony Robbins' organization and maybe find somebody down here, but he's not going to coach me at $1 billion because he doesn't have time. He's got other people that are way at that level that I might not be at yet. And so that's one of the things, you have to find. You're going to go through a few coaches. I promise
Absolutely,
you.
and you need to
You're
find the coach that is right on your level. You see, the lawyer that 2 3 interviews that we had in this podcast, it was
gonna,
a lawyer that was finding a coach, and he described to me he's based in North Carolina, and he was telling me, Harry, I was hiding a coach, and I find a coach that help people to make from 5 million plus. Well, this is not my coach because I'm not even in 5 million. Then he
yeah,
find another coach that specializes in 0 to 500,000. I said, well, this is not my coach either because I'm already in 750. So took him a while, and then he find a person that actually specialized in this, in 500,000 to 2.5 million. Yeah. And he told me, Harry, I hired this mentor, this coach, and specialize in this particular frame, which is the situation that I had at the moment. And it was a blessing for him. And now his business double and triple so fast. So it's not, and this is the problem that we have with entrepreneurs. This that we don't, we want to hire sometimes the biggest, the coach, and we don't understand what is the situation we are at the moment and what is the right person that we can bring to our organization that will help us to get to that place, right? And then, like you described, you're gonna need several in your way because even in this broadcast, there are coaches in this broadcast that are good from 0 to 1. There are other people that they are good in 1 to 10 million. There are other people that they are good 10 million to 100 million. That there are people here visiting this podcast that help people from 100 million to 1 billion.
yeah,
That's what they are good at.
hey,
So nobody's
100%.
better than anybody. Everybody is good on one particular space, and entrepreneurs sometimes because we are desperate, or because we have so much pressure, and because we just need a coach. We go there and then we take a decision, and then we don't bring the right people to organization. Then we have a bad experience, and now we don't trust coach and mentoring anymore. And I think it's just about getting better and hiring the right coach in the same way that we get better at hiring employees and so on, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you have to realize, create an amount of money that you're willing to spend on coaching, whatever that is, especially if you're getting started in this. And whatever that amount that you have, double it. And then that's the amount you're going to spend on working on you, working on your business, because that's what it's going to take. And then, like for me, I specialize on people getting going and learning to become the person, right? Because let's say they go open up a hamburger joint. I don't know nothing about a hamburger joint. I've never owned one, never want one, that kind of stuff, right? So I might not be the coach that's get you there, but I can get you going in business. I can get you started. I can get you with the right
Mm-hmm.
discipline, with the right
Mm-hmm.
habits. But beyond that, then I'm going to tell you, okay, now you're at the place, and this is where you can tell if you're going to find the right coach. You've grown beyond me. Let me
Mm-hmm.
help you find somebody else
Absolutely.
that is going to help you get to the next level. And I'm okay, because I'm not going to be the be all that can help you get to all areas of your life. The other part of it is you have to be willing to do what they say. And that might
Have to
take
be
a
coachable.
you
Coachable.
have to be coachable at the speed of instruction. And that's what I say, like the people who fail in the programs that I have or the people that I do is because they're not listening to what I'm asking them to do, or they want to go try something else, or they're doing too many things. They got all these different things that they want to do. Okay, let's get good at this thing and get you in the right disciplines for this one little thing. And then we'll take off there. Now we can add something else. Now we can move to something else. I wrote this book. It's called There Is No Tiger. And I was talking to Harry about just a minute ago. It's based on overcoming overthinking and controlling anxiety. And so one of the things that a lot of people do is they play these reels in their mind like it's a movie. Like if it's a movie of your life, we have this movie of your life, and we think of all the things that could possibly happen and go wrong. Oh, if I start this business, then I'm gonna lose my money. If the people don't, customers don't come, and then what if one of them is like me? Then they're gonna sue me, and when they sue me, I'm not gonna have the insurance that's gonna be able to afford the lawsuit. And then when I get the lawsuit, then I'm gonna be broken. Then I'm gonna lose my business, and then my wife's not gonna love me, and then my kids are not gonna talk to me. And they go down in these reels, and they think that stuff is going to happen, and they concentrate and they try to control a whole bunch of things that don't happen. Like you think of the anxiety, fear, actual fear, like I'm afraid of public speaking. That's not real fear. Fear is present real danger. A snake is getting ready to bite you. An alligator is getting ready to chop off your head. That's fear. You need to run.
Absolutely.
But I'm afraid of public speaking. No, that's anxiety about a future, what you think is going to happen when
Or
you
what
speak,
people are gonna think about me, right?
what people are going to think about you. That's what we got to overcome. And that, the book just talks about ways to do that. But first you got to identify, is this really fear or is this anxiety? And if it is anxiety, what are some things that I can do to stop spending my time thinking about because what we don't do is overthink things that are going to go good, right? Oh man, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to make $1 million. It's going to be wonderful. And, this is going to be the best life I've ever had. And my wife's going to love me more. And we don't spend a whole bunch of time overthinking that. We think of all the things that are going to go wrong. And that's part of when you start out, you have to go one step at a time. Yes, it's great to have a dream, and and even with goals, sometimes I think, okay, I don't want you to put a date on this yet, because you're putting a date on a whole bunch of things you can't control. And like,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna
Goal
have
setting.
100,000 subscribers by March 31st. Really? Well, how are you gonna control that? It's great. It's an outcome. Have 100,000 subscribers, but you're not the one clicking on subscribing, so
Well,
you can't control
definitely, if you're
that.
in TikTok, you're gonna have a challenge. Because
Mhm.
and you can control that.
Can't control that. And there's all these other things that people try to control. They're totally out of their control, and they put a date, and then they don't hit their goal. And then
Hmm.
they wonder why they don't hit the goal. So if I'm working with you, I'm talking about, okay, what are the outcomes we want for this year? And then what is the person that you need to be in order to hit that outcome? And then what disciplines now do you need to have to be able, because I want to be a world-class swimmer, but I only want to go to the pool 3 times a week. Friend, you're not going to be a
Hmm.
world-class swimmer.
And then,
It's
Brian,
not.
the other thing is, you 100% right. The success of the entrepreneur is 80-90% is in this mindset, and this overthinking. You you become someone that every as an entrepreneur become by way thinking someone that everything has to be perfect, and paralysis analysis. They think, and very little gets done. And this goes in the way of actually what we discussed before, to developing the skill. The more you practice, the better you become. You actually you learn more practicing that when I have a business idea, I as soon as I kind of put it out there, and and I see how fast is is gonna fail, or how fast I'm going to adapt to until it's not out there. Speed of implementation, I think, is one of the things that I'm a big fan. And if any of successes that I have in my business, this is one key things. I implement really fast. Sometimes this you have to be careful, because sometimes I implement so fast the idea that have been a total disaster. Yeah, and however, it helps you to develop the skill. It helps you to find out quickly what is wrong with it, or what is right about your business, your project, right? But you have to become a certain type of person. And what happened is that some people people from corporate, yeah, they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to go in business, and now they love that you have freedom of time. They love that you can go on holiday as much as you can. They know that you can have financial freedom, that you can spend time with your family and friends. All this they love, but when you go and tell them, when Brian come and tell you, hey, you can have all that, but you have to become a different person, and you have to behave in a different way. And let me tell you something, it's not going to happen overnight. It's coming to you if you're coachable, if you're patient, if you become that person that you need to be, it will happen for you. But if you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to become that person, this future unfortunately won't be available for you, because this is the reward for you to become a different type of person, right? So in this process, Brian, what are the challenges of yourself? Because, like I said, you walk the talk. You were that guy. You were that guy that came from corporate and now on the business. So you have to become a different person. So, what was your internal conversation? What was the challenges that you faced changing? Because the Brian now that was a university teacher that get a lot of holiday. Let me tell you, teachers in university get a lot of holiday. Yeah, so you have a lot of free time. You definitely pay you good money in the university. So you were one Brian there. Now the Brian entrepreneur is completely different person. The way that he thinks, the way that he reacts, the way that um. So who helped you to become that person? Did you find it difficult? um, and what can you share about this experience? And if you talk about in your book about some of this process that internally happened to you, because it's just like you're two different people
Oh,
from.
yes. I'm a totally different person.
So
Not
it
even
was
close.
difficult.
Yeah. Well, I guess here's the first challenge that I had, right? Is I wanted it too fast, right? When I had a little bit of success, I wanted the stuff. I wanted to have, right? We are creatures of having. And so even though I wasn't ready, I was willing to go spend money on things that I probably shouldn't have spent money on, that I didn't need. I can remember at one point when I first got started and I started making a little bit more money, I went and bought a BMW, right? Went to the lot, bought me this BMW. It was a used one, but it was still very nice. I
Well,
wasn't
but
making,
you should celebrate your victory, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Try to
listen,
celebrate a little bit cheaper if you can, but
exactly. I should have been in a nice Camry or something instead of in,
yeah, next time we do a party in my
750.
house,
Yeah.
and it's cheaper.
Yeah, and so I wanted to have before I become the person that could sustain having that car. And now now as I'm making sales or I'm doing sales, right? I'm thinking the whole time, instead of working on my business, I'm thinking I got to hurry up and sell something to you so that I can make some money so that I can pay for this car that I already have. And so my whole mindset is all based on chasing around people, and like I talked about before, trying to convince them to buy something from me because I needed the money so that I could then perpetuate my business. And so that was a huge mistake in the transition. The other thing is I wasn't expecting what my family was going to say, do, my closest friends, my closest associations. When you start moving ahead and they're not willing to do what you're willing to do in order to have what you're willing to have, right? They start saying, well, you can't have it either. I got to bring you down to me because I don't feel, this is why I think that they could not think that at all. I don't think that I want to do what you're doing because you're working awful hard. You're doing a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not willing to do. And so you're going to leave me. You're not going to be my friend. You're not going to hang out with me anymore. And so, you're not going to work at this. This isn't going to work for you. Let's go do this. Oh, you can't do this right now. We're going to go have some fun. We're going to go to the game. We got tickets to the game. Do you want to go? Oh no, I got to work. So what I had to do is find new friends. I had to find
That
new
happened
friends.
to me also.
Oh yeah, you do. Because people will bring you down like the crab. What's that? Crabs in the basket. You put one crab in the basket, he'll crawl out. You put two crabs in the basket, they'll pull each other down. You don't even have to put a lid on it. And that's what happens with our relationships with our people. Even my, nobody's going to believe in you as much as you believe in you. And even if it's your spouse, they're looking for results, even before you were able to maybe create results. And so, you said, hey, so I wouldn't go tell everybody this is what I'm going to do. You can turn a circle of friends that can support you, but if you go tell your family, friends, and everything, hey, I'm going to make $1 million in 2025, and you haven't made $10. Okay, is it possible? Absolutely. Is it likely? Probably not. However, if you go tell all your friends you're going to do it and you don't do it, now they're going to talk about you if they're still your friends all day long, every day. That was a hard lesson for me to learn is who can I trust with my goals, my dreams, and where I'm going, and who do I
Absolutely.
wait to see? Go ahead and wait and see.
Mm.
That's the big thing now. Is I don't.
And this
Yeah.
is this is what happened, when you start in the business, because you do have your friends. And then I remember when I started my first business, I went out with my friends, and everybody talking about the job, everybody talking about what they're doing, and then I go there and I talk about my business, and nobody cares.
Yep.
Nobody want to listen. Nobody cares. You get this guy's crazy. What you doing? Why you should get back on your job? And then also my parents, they are not entrepreneurs. They are teachers, right? So again, what you doing? You crazy? Why you don't find a job? You have a university degree. Go and find a job. So you find this in the environment, and then I realized soon that wow, I gonna lose my friends. I cannot hang out with those friends anymore. They actually they don't even care when they're not even listening. I just go there, drink a bit with them, make crack some jokes, but they don't even care. So, and at the first 2 years was a little bit lonely process because I didn't know anybody down a business, and I have to struggle and learn everything by myself. And I was thinking, remember back on the day, well, I gonna end up without friends. So I don't have where I gonna find these friends. And you see now this broadcast, we have over 500 million is coming to this broadcast. Now all my friends are entrepreneurs, right? Is the most of the people that I spend my time surrounded with. But back on the day, oh my God, I thought I was gonna be lonely my whole life. I think my family doesn't understand me, my friend doesn't understand me. I tell them what I'm gonna do, and they thinking I'm joking. And I think that if you go to a group of entrepreneurs and you say the same statement, I'm gonna make a million in a year, right? And you go back after 1 year and you say, well, I couldn't make it. You're gonna find different reaction. You're gonna find that people with the, hey Brian, how can I help you? What happened? Tell me a little bit more. What happened? What happened with that goal? What was it? It was marketing. Was this? Tell me more. They're gonna be inclined to hear what you need support, and because they also been there, so they understand 100% what is your pain. They understand that this goal setting also happened to them, and they understand that if they can be a contribution for you, they're there to help. So the entrepreneurs, we have to support each other because unfortunately we only 2% of the population. We need to handle more pressure than anybody else in this planet. when we go out there, we are like, nobody want to know anything about us. You go to the bank, well, you're a mortgage broker, yeah. So you know what I mean. When you go to the bank to ask for a mortgage, if you're an entrepreneur, bank doesn't want to hear about you. You are a huge risk. They give the mortgage to my employees easier. So so you, as an entrepreneur, you're a big risk. You're this entity, but in the end of the day, you're responsible for your employees, you're responsible for your business, you're responsible for your family. You're responsible. You need to handle more pressure that most of the people out there. And then when you go there and you want to share what are your problems and your goals and when things are not working, I'm sorry, but if your parents have been an entrepreneur, or your cousins or your friends or whatever, it's gonna be very difficult for them to understand what you're going through. Whether other entrepreneur, they know what you're talking, they can feel the pain and they can be a contribution. So how you made this transition and how do you find new friends? For me was tough. I
Yeah,
find them
no,
finally. Took me 17 years though. Yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. It's like well, first you got to realize that your friends that you thought were your friends are not truly your friends. Because if they were, they would be encouraging, they would be lifting you up, they would be moving forward with you, they would
Regardless, that sound crazy.
yeah, and
Uh,
it doesn't matter. I mean, for let's say it takes you 10 years to hit that $1 million. You're going to live for 10 years anyways. What else are you going to do? So you might as well work on the stuff that you want to work on to be able to do that. And then what begins to happen is once you start getting mentors, when you start getting people, you start attending personal development stuff, you start talking to people that are doing some of the same things. You seek out new entrepreneurs. Like when I was getting going, I needed a mentor in finances, so I sought out like some financial planners. I needed a person who could help me in my speaking, in my talking, in my ability to communicate. So now I have a group of people that I'm a better speaker. Now I can go out and I can do a keynote. And now I have even more people coming up to me saying, "Hey, I want to do what you do. I want to talk like you talk. I want to, okay, so great." So based on where you're at, you are going to find a new circle of friends that's going to go. Now, some of those circles of friend masterminds and that kind of stuff, you might have to pay to be in those circles at first. But I promise you, those relationships that you make when you get into some of those masterminds, and now you can sit down on a Saturday night and call somebody at 11 o'clock that you know and go, "Man, I just messed up today. I did this, and this, and it did not work." I went and I spoke at a keynote, and not one person laughed. Not one person. They just stared at me. I wanted to walk off the stage like 2 minutes into it. Now, but you can talk to somebody and say, "Oh yeah, that happened to me too." I remember when I was in a room with three people, and all three of them
Oh
walked
my
out
God, tell me
in
about
my
it.
talk, right?
My first workshop in Singapore, we went there and we were so excited. So the people in London told me, "Harry, we're gonna go with you to Singapore and we're gonna support you and we're gonna do speakers at least in Singapore." So when we arrived to Singapore, there were 7 people. There were more people from the team of support than actually the people in
You
the
have more
audience.
people on your support
Oh
team. Wow.
my goodness. So yeah, the I think that but again, if you have someone that has been in that environment, we tell you, Brian, you see, again, it's a skill. This is just the first time. The more you practice, the better you
Yeah.
become. Even in this background, we are picturing Singapore, and we managed to put 150 people then in a room and in our trainings and the workshop. But it didn't happen overnight. You need to do
No.
it small, and the first one was 7 people,
There
and
you
then
go.
the next one you got a little bit, and the next one was 30 people, and the next one was 30 people, and eventually you grow and you make it. But again, being on the space that people that they are have similar goals, and at least they can encourage you and they can understand. That's why mentorship is important. That's why coaching is important, because I, this person will understand what you're going through. And I think that I was asked that, that we just become entrepreneur, what I call it, by accident. Yeah, we we have a problem, we have a solution, you have no more choice. Yeah, and then now we are in business, and we are in this path that now we need to have new friends. We need to have you work different. Yeah, still still my friends from university don't understand why I don't have an alarm clock and why my phone is on silent all the time. And I I explained to them several times, and they still don't understand. They say, why when I call you, you don't pick up the phone? I said, because my phone is always on silent. Because you, if people don't want to talk to me, they text me. We book a time, and it's been in silent for 17 years. Because my first business, I have so many clients and so many people that if my phone was on, these people are gonna kill me. I won't have time to sleep. Everybody wants to speak with Harry, so I had to put my phone in silent. I have been in silent for 17 years, and the state my friends at university, they don't understand that they take my phone, and they're taking people, and they're trying to put something. So when they call me, my phone only makes tones for them. I said, look, it's not gonna happen. It's this is how it works. We want to talk. You message me. We book a time in the calendar, and we will be able to talk as much as you want. But if you, it's not gonna work. It doesn't work like this. So that okay, Brian. Let's talk a little bit more about this, about how you because again, when you're an entrepreneur, everybody's on top of you. You're making all the decisions. So how you stay positive? Yeah, I find you that you have an amazing energy, right? You're really happy and shining. So which is means that is something powerful transformation happened to you within yourself. And again, it comes from the emotional pain. When you started your first business, you see, you knew nobody knows you, so people want to pay you little money for your services, and then you supply maybe want to give you the product more expensive because you're nobody, you just started the business, nobody knows you, and people ask you for discount and they want to pay you, and all this challenge at the beginning create this emotional pain. There is a story in your brain. But if this emotional pain um, can end up in physical pain, you can end up with cancer, with a heart attack. And how many people make millions, and they have a heart attack and they die because this emotional pain have moved to a physical pain, this negative emotion. So, in what process of your journey? Yeah, I'm actually Tony Robbins is very good for that. Giving credit for this, to stay in this positive mindset and let it go the negative emotions and so on. So, when do you discover that you have to work on that? When do you discover that your mental health is important, that you are responsible for it, that you're taking more pressure than anybody else around your surrounding, but you know what? Nobody understand what you're going through. Nobody can guide you. So when do you took the decision that, look, I need to take care of myself? I'm a different person now with different needs, and one of the needs is that because I'm under more pressure than everybody else, I need to find alternative way to release that pressure because I want to be healthy. From this broadcast, we want all the entrepreneurs to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. And for that, they need to work on the mental health. So when do you discover that it's not only about making money, it's all about being healthy and being happy? And when do you make this transition, and which resources you have? For example, you wrote a book. This is a way, it's a gym for your mind. That's just beautiful. It's an amazing exercise for you to release all this experience, all this negative emotion, and let it go. This I strongly encourage everyone that write the book so you can let everything go. So, so Brian, tell us when you took this decision.
Yeah, I love it because I got about five things that just came to my mind as you said. First, I serve an amazing God that I know I can do all things through, that is there for me in every aspect, and that I'm going to be okay no matter what. I'm going to be happy whether I'm making a lot of money, or I'm going to be happy if I'm not making a lot of money.
That's very good space to be. Very good
Yeah.
space. Because you know what,
So
Brian? You don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. And
I
when
know.
you are from this space, when you live your life from this space, you won't believe how happy, how free you're gonna be, how how free you're gonna operate. So I love this one. What else?
And then the other one, when I think about money, people say money isn't everything. You don't have to have every money. I agree. Money is not everything, but it is up there with oxygen because we have to have it to do everything that we need to do. And so if I have a choice, either not have money or to have money, I'll pick having money all the time because it allows me to do things and serve people. Because if my job is to go out and help people become the person they need to be, I have to be able to serve people. And my prayer every single day is, dear Lord, give me the wisdom to do the things you put me on this earth to do in a way that pleases you and serves others. So as long as I'm serving another human being, I'm living in purpose. When you're living in purpose, you're super happy. Next thing that I realize is hurting people hurt people. And so you think of all the naysayers and the people who are going to say negative things about you. And usually there's something going on in their life that they have to lash out to you about. And what I realize is, if somebody says something negative to me and I'm like face to face with them, and I'll say, wow, can't believe you say that. Let me help you. What's going on in your life right now that is hurting you so bad that you would want to hurt me like that? Boom, shuts them off. We're gone. I'm not worried about it. Now, if it's a comment online, I take the same thing. Wow, you don't have any time in the day but to watch my video and tell me that you don't like the way that my lips look. Great. There's something wrong probably in your life where you don't like lips or something. I don't have time to entertain that whole negative process of you making up stuff because there's something going on in your life. And then what did I write down? I don't even know what the last thing was that I said, as far as the emotional and being able to see who I am. I'm content in where I'm going, who I am, and who I get to help. And like I said, being able to serve
And
others.
living from this space, you are
Yeah,
you are so you live in a way of happiness, fulfillment, and the good thing about it is that the people that will come to your environment, they connect with you, and they can sense this positive energy, and I think this is a fantastic space to be and way to be. So Brian, tell us a little bit more, if someone is in love with our conversation, how they can find you, how this process works. Tell us a little bit more about your book, what is in the chapter, how where people can buy the book. Show it to us, but also mention the title again and everything in case so some people listen to us in the car. So if you can mention the title and where they can buy it and what the book is about and how they can find you, how the process works, that would be fantastic.
absolutely. So this book here is called There Is No Tiger, and you can get it on Amazon or wherever you like. I have a book that's coming out in 2 weeks. It's called The Decision Formula. And the Decision
Wow, I
Formula,
love the title.
yeah,
Love the
it's
title.
five easy steps to make decisions that'll change your life. And it's all about
Wow.
there's reversible decisions, irreversible decisions. So one of the decisions, if they're going to chop off your leg, that's irreversible. You should probably take a lot of thought about it. If the decision is reversible, like, oh, can I move across country? Well, go across country. If it doesn't work out, move back. Right? That's reversible. Even relationships are pretty reversible, right? If I make a decision in this day and age, you can reverse some of that stuff. But then it also talks about what disciplines that you need to have in order to do. I kind of talked about the swimmer. It talks about loving the journey that you're going to do while you're doing it. It talks about the cost. When I'm getting ready to make this, what is going to be the cost to me? Am I going to make this decision to become an entrepreneur in this area, but I got to move to South America to do it, but I have little kids? Well, the cost is too great for my whole family there. You're just going to have to wait a little bit. So it's a little formula that you put together to be able to do that. I'm in the process of writing my third book, which is called Be Do Have. All of this you can find on BrianEArnold.com. That's BrianEArnold, as you can read on the screen.com. If you're listening to this, on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever it is, it's Brian, BrianEArnold.com. Everything that I do is there. You can find it. You can find coaching programs. You can find speaking programs. You want me to come as a keynote? I'll be happy to come there. Buy the books there as well. you're gonna have, if you want to interact with me, even I got tons of YouTube videos that are out there. I do my own podcast. Once it's called Living Boldly with Purpose, and then I have one for
Wow, love the
specifically.
title.
Yeah, and then I have an exclusive one for Black men, which is called Journey to Freedom, where I'm getting ready to
Wow.
take 15 Black men to Alabama next week to learn about civil rights and how we interact and how do we move forward in this society
Wow,
where
very
you.
powerful topic.
Yeah, so it is. So tons of stuff to go. Here's the thing though. I get time. I have time to do what I love to do, and what I love to do is create relationships and talk to you. The guest that I had yesterday said, I'm a lonely boy looking for connection." And so, when you think about
Mhm.
our lives and the things that we do, we only get to do this once. And so, if you're not
Absolutely.
loving life, if you're not loving the things that you do every day, we need to find you a way to do the things that you love to do because you're here to impact others. And if you're willing to serve others and impact others, the money comes afterwards. Yeah, like I said, you don't have to be worried about the money. The money will happen if you go out and do something you love and then you find some people, some coaches that can help you be able to do it.
And with that note, thank you so much, Brian, for this broadcast, and see you guys in another episode of Unstoppable How Brave Entrepreneur like Brian break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Pleasure.